Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. I'm your host Clayton at ClaytonAFC on Twitter, here to review the second win at Old Trafford in 20 years in the league. It's the first time we've done the league double over Man United since 2006-07. It's the first time in 25 years we've taken the title to the final day. And to review all of it, I'm here with Uncle Mike. How you doing?
Oh, yes. Well, feel a bit better now. Now it's over.
I saw that beer in hand, much needed.
Yeah. Mate, do you know what? Honestly, I haven't drunk a beer or any alcohol since January.
Bloody hell!
Right,
And that
just
game
because,
made you...
and that game turned me to a beer after work.
Not Tottenham away.
No. Tottenham away. I was calm.
Yeah?
You know, I think that when we go on to it, but obviously the game state, I still felt in that Tottenham game we were sharp and clinical, and we ripped them to shreds. And I think the scoreline flattened them in the end. But today, I just don't think we could put more than 3 passes together.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll go into that. But yeah, it was. I'm sure though it's one of those games where I often say to you or say to my mates, when you watch this game back with no emotion, you do a rewatch tomorrow, you'll probably go, what was I worried about? But it's because everything was on the line. I was more scared of what we were going to lose than the actual them causing any threat.
Yeah, it's a really good point because when in a few minutes time we'll go into the game, review it, and
Of course, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the stats, but I think
I haven't actually. No,
okay,
not at all.
It's interesting you say that in terms of same as you watching it with a certain emotion and having seen the stats, and I'm sure if I was to rewatch the game emotionless, I get exactly what you're hinting at there. But before we get into the game, what's your obviously the build up for you? You obviously live in Manchester. For people that haven't heard from you before, you were kind of born and raised in London, proper Arsenal, but you've moved northwest.
I've been.
Well,
just a bit of context. I've lived in Manchester for 15 years, and they've been 15 painful years. So it's been, especially during the prime banter years. You know, I arrived here 2009. We were sort of on the back end of Wenger years, or just at the start of the decline. Had a couple of cup finals, but thankfully United was sort of fairly on the same path. But before the game, I was fairly confident. You know, I was looking like you. We're looking at everything. You're looking at the team sheet. Our team, which I don't think there was any surprises. It was the team that I would have put out myself.
Yeah. You wouldn't have gone Jorginho, no?
In hindsight, with 55 minutes gone, I'm screaming for Jorginho to come on.
Because that was the thing I put in my predicted lineup going into it, to be fair.
I was Jorginho?
I put Jorginho in there, yes. I got that wrong.
But the vibe for me, I had a nice walk. It was lovely and sunny. I seen a few United fans walking about with their shirts on. And
were you in your colours, or
I got this on. Nice
wore,
and she wore nice and discreet and subtle. So if you know, you know. And a couple of them knew as well. And I got a new dog, right? So this dog is so friendly that he's going up to everyone and he's like saying hello. So everyone knew I was an Arsenal fan, basically. Okay. So I'm walking along and I'm thinking, you're going to get absolutely slapped up today, right? That's what I'm thinking, because I'm like, this is a long time. I wanted revenge from 8-2. I want 6-1 slappings wiped off. But then you look at the stats, and Scott Willis put something up before the game, and it was in the last 30 years, I think we've never, 0 or 1 matches we've actually beaten them by more than 1 goal.
Oh, wow.
So historically, we have never, ever gone there and slapped them up. We've never gone there and even beaten them by 2 goals.
And even in this one, when, like you say, we're going into it thinking we can slap them, it's 1-0.
Absolutely thinking it's the best Arsenal team that I've seen for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's the worst United lineup and club and state of it at the moment. It was primed for a slapping. Now, we know games against United don't work like that. So.
Yeah, I was the exact same as you going into the game. I'm someone that I think, even though on the preview pod I was like very bullish, very confident, I think I'm not someone that is usually like that. I think I always find that negative fan bias in terms of always what can go wrong. But it was the first time I'd say this season in a big game anyway. Like, I text my mates before the game, like, especially when I saw the lineups, I was like, I am so relaxed. I genuinely think this will be 4-5-6. And then the game panned out, and I was like, what is going on? So just before we get into the deep dive of what happened, how would you summarize how you feel? Like, obviously, the performance wasn't great, but do you care?
Oh, now, absolutely, no, don't give a shit. Absolutely do not give a shit. Honestly, I really don't care. I don't care if now that the 3 points are in the bag, I don't care. I just wanted it to go to the last game of the season.
Yeah.
I wanted that so badly, because if we'd lost or even drawn today, right? Can you imagine Neville?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the narrative? Can you imagine every opposition fan going, "Oh, we told you so. We told you so. We told you so." And even more importantly, which we can go on further, but this is huge for next season,
big time,
because you can now say we can go to these grounds in the northwest of England and we don't get turned over. So mate, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I saw a tweet earlier. It's the first time we've gone like unbeaten against the, in air quotes, big six of like Spurs, City, Chelsea, City, United in a league campaign, and I can't remember since when. I want to say it was.
Yeah, I was talking to a City fan at work the other day, and I said to him, "Oh yeah, well, he said to me, oh, what do you think?" I said, "No, it's done." And he's like, "Oh no, we're going to drop points. We're going to drop points." And I'm like,
"When was this?"
This was Friday, right? Honestly,
wow.
Honestly, it was Friday, and he's gone. "No," I said, "Don't be silly, right? I accept it's done." And he was. I said to him, "Well, first time we got 4 points off you this season. We got 4 points off Liverpool. We got 6 off United. We got 4 off Chelsea, and we got 4 off Spurs."
Yeah.
So and I said to him, posed him the question, "When was the last time we took 4 points off of City?" And he said, "I can't remember. We just look at you, or we used to look at you thinking that's 6 point Arsenal."
Yeah.
And that's what's changed. And not anymore. And that's what's fucking beautiful. So, but your point is, it is true. The northwest of England is been an unlucky or unfortunate hunting ground for us. The amount of times we got turned over at Liverpool, even Everton, City. Yeah. So, huge step. So I think it's just for the progress of the team that they can hold on for that 15 minutes where it was edgy at times. But if we go back at it, how many have you got the stats?
Let's go into it. And just before we do, you obviously said there it was Man City fans looking at us as 6 point Arsenal. It's 6 point Man United for us now. So
and I think this will change. I think this is now cracked it, because we had that. And that's what I think our fears were for this game. We know we're a better team. We know an absolutely miles better team, but it was that historical PTSD that affected us as a fan base,
big time,
rather than the players to some extent.
Big time. But yeah, let's get into the game, because, like you said, it was you kind of mentioned at the start. If you rewatch this game, you'll be surprised, sort of thing. So the stats for anyone listening on the podcast, we've got the graphic from Mark, our stat spot, on the screen on YouTube. So the XG, according to Mark's model, was 1.62 to us to their 0.61. The threat was 1.7 to us to their 0.85. Possession, they slightly edged it. They had 54.2 to our 45.8, and we lost on our field tilt medals today. We 59.3 to Man United to our 40.7, and even total shots. Fair enough, they outshot us 14 to 11, but shots on target they had 2, and we had 5.
Yeah. So it goes back to shots on target under 3, which is our standard, what we sort of perform in all season, which is the impressive thing, isn't it? But as you say, those stats do tell the story. But if you're a United fan now, do you think you're disappointed?
I think so, because they would have had this slightly biased view, perhaps, that they were in control of the game because of the feeling being like they were getting into more areas and stuff. But I don't know, if you look at the graphic, I always say I prefer the threat metric more than expected goals. And you look at the threat, and it's us the whole game.
I mean, I think, didn't Højlund only have 1 touch in the box, I believe?
I think so, yeah.
But I mean, I don't think we were much better, were we? I mean, we were clinical.
Yeah. What do you think happened though? Like, because I'm the same as you. Like, do I care? No, but I think it's impossible to kind of review the game without acknowledging what happened.
Of course,
right? So,
but I also think that at this stage of the season, it goes out the window. Obviously, whatever we're going to look at is almost totally irrelevant to what will happen next Sunday.
Yeah.
So we want to know, but I think we played with a handbrake on. But I think absolutely. But we did we try and do the not press them so much because we thought they would get themselves into trouble. We sort of sat off them certainly in the first half, didn't we? And I mean that was the tactic in the home game, wasn't it? We sat off them a little bit and let them have the ball. But I just think, I mean, there was a few sloppy passes.
Yeah.
We could look at the party factor. When he's on it, he's absolutely on it. When he's off it,
there's no like middle ground, is there?
There's no middle. It's like absolutely. It's either a 7 or a 4. Yeah. You know, whereas Rice never goes below a 7. If Rice is on his worst game, I think he's had 2 bad halves all season, and the half that he was about 7.5. You know, so
can I go for it?
No, go on.
I'm going to throw something else out there that I think may get missed / might be a bit of an unpopular critique, and it's a man who assisted the goal, Havertz.
Yeah.
I thought his all-round hold-up play was quite disappointing today, and I think because he came short a lot, but a lot of his layoffs didn't really land. I'd love to see the stats in terms of like his pass completion and stuff, because I got the feeling that when he was coming short, he was losing the ball. When we went direct, like he is that out ball for us, right? He gives us that different option, but I didn't feel like he was winning some of the aerial duels, but I didn't feel like it was going anywhere with us, and it didn't feel like it was sticking. And I think that was a lot in why, combined with Partey just not being very good today, I think we really struggled to sustain pressure. And it's like you said it at the start, it really felt like we struggled to put 2-3 passes together and just to jump between slides. This is another graphic from Mark, our stat spot, and it shows ball progression in terms of passing and carrying in a vertical and horizontal graph. And usually Arsenal dominate these kind of things. It's usually Jorginho, Partey, one of the centre backs, Rice. On the chart, it's literally Amrabat and Casemiro dominating it. And I think that is so. It's a nice visual to illustrate, in my opinion, what was happening on the pitch. I just don't think we were sustaining the ball when we got it and doing enough with it. And I don't know. Did you catch Arteta's presser after the game?
No, I didn't actually.
It was quite interesting because the interviewer kind of asked him like same thing, like what happened, because that wasn't the Arsenal performance you can expect, and he kind of said like to paraphrase, basically we were playing with like a lack of bravery and a lack of courage, and we were playing in 2 dangerous zones. We weren't really aggressively going and playing forward. We were playing backwards too much, and I don't know if there was a bit of nervousness, because I thought we started absolutely phenomenally when we first came out.
Yeah, with that first 3 minutes, we were like, oh yeah, here we go. Right, we're over on the right-hand side, camped them in. Then it all sort of fizzled out a little bit. They sort of got a holding into the game. Then they had a sort of a 10-minute spell. And then, just as we keep going back to, the passing just wasn't there. Odegaard wasn't able to hold up the ball.
I didn't feel like he was on the ball at all today.
No, at all. And that's what you normally. That's the relationship that we all trust so much.
Look at him on that graphic. He's literally behind like White, Gabriel.
Yeah. And it's normally Partey to Odegaard, and that's the connection, isn't it? And I do you remember there was that turnover that Partey done quite early on, which gave them their first
when
chance.
Højlund just slashed it over, didn't he? Or did it hit Gabriel and go over?
Yeah. And was that the moment that we shit ourselves?
Mate, that's a really good. I think it was because so that was
because from that moment on, Partey did not try that silky let the ball go across his body, which is
the shoulder,
drop the shoulder, bosh, and absolutely, and then he's passing it out to Odegaard and we're away. He didn't try that for 40 minutes. The next time he tried it was Obviously, there's a couple of mistakes, and then on the 55th minute, it was right, and he won it, and he did drop his shoulder eventually that one time.
I remember that one,
and he sprayed it out. I remembered it because that's why I looked at the clock. I thought, right, I've waited 55 minutes for this, mate, and here we go. But I don't know. Even Saka was off. I don't think you can go through the team apart from the two.
The monsters at the back, as always.
Which are the two machines? I don't think there's anyone that I'm giving 6 out of 10s.
Yeah,
really. And is that because I really hope not? And if it was, it's still a progression because we could have cracked quite easily. But was that City result yesterday? Well, it was the first time that City went above us.
Played before us
for a while. And then suddenly, because the same happened at the Villa game, didn't it? I think there was the Liverpool result, which they lost, and we then had the chance.
Yeah, you're right.
To sort of go for it. And we played well in the first half, but in the second half, that performance in the second half kind of reminds me of how we played today. I don't know. I just don't think we were at it. But to go to Old Trafford when you're not at it and still get a 1-0 result, I'll take that all day long.
I think that's the thing. It makes me laugh. Like narratives from people outside of Arsenal circles. The one cliche everyone says every year without fail: what's the sign of champions? Playing poorly and winning. But then when it's Arsenal, it's like the kind of lasers come in on like what happened today. And like we're talking about it as two fans, just being a bit like, we know what we're capable of. We didn't see what we're capable of. Do we care? No, but it's weird to do a podcast and not acknowledge it, right?
Of course, because otherwise, what else are we going to talk about?
Yeah,
but honestly, I just don't think, and that is the sign of, because we would. I mean, could you imagine? I was actually dreading it, mate. I was more worried about if we conceded in that last 10 minutes.
Were you nervous at all? Because I've just seen a message from one of my mates, and he usually tunes into this. A shout out to my mate Lee. And just while I'm at it, actually, got a few people in the chat. Got Delia's in, showing some love for you, Uncle Mike. And got Levi or Levy. Sorry if I've butchered your name there, mate. These are the games that build long-lasting confidence, grinding out away wins against mid-table teams with piss-poor pitches. Come on, you guys. And to anyone that is watching live, if you're enjoying this, please drop the channel, hit subscribe to the channel, and drop the stream a like and give some love to Uncle Mike. But yeah, I was just saying, my mate Lee texted me, and he said he never actually felt nervous that we were going to concede. And I don't know about you, I did, but I'm a very emotional fan.
Yes, me too. I mean, I have to confess, I was working well. Meant to
as long as your employers watching. If they're not watching,
of course. I was taking my designated lunch break, Gaffer.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. It just happened to be 2 hours long. And he's a Luton fan, so he's probably pissed off anyway. But I was, as I said, I think it was more nervous and anxious about throwing away what is going to be a fantastic weekend next weekend. You look at the chances, they were chucked a couple of crosses in, but that's the other thing. It absolutely hammered it down, thunder, lightning, right? And I'm thinking the footballing gods are looking down at us going, oh yeah, you thought you were going to come into Old Trafford and win 4-0. Well, here's a deflected Dalot off his arse in the 89th minute.
Yeah.
There you go, 1-1. Same old Arsenal, you always fuck it up. And that was what my nerves were. I don't think it was actually the threat of what per se United were doing on the pitch. It was just when it's 1-0, I mean, how many times might we even think it's when you're 2-0 that you need that third goal. So when it was 1-0, anything can happen. Because that crowd, fair play to them.
Yeah, the atmosphere was really good, I thought.
they stuck with him, and then it was getting more and more. And then did you hear Neville when he was that penalty shout?
He was trying to talk it into existence.
And then Neville starts making his little funny noises.
Okay.
And they're thinking, "Fuck off, mate! You wired into the VAR room or what?
Literally.
You know, just so no, don't shut up." So, yeah, I think it was just all about. Yeah, but saying that, I thought, when did you think Jorginho should? I know you said we should have started, but I was 60 minutes. I was like, come on, let's get Jorginho on. And
Mate,
don't you think do you think it's a bit strange that it took him on so late?
Yeah. So the first sub literally came in the 66.
No, it was Saka, wasn't it?
Martinelli came on for Trossard first.
That's right. Yeah.
But then Jorginho only came on in stoppage time. And to your actual question, I wouldn't have done it, but at half time, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jorginho comes on here. And then to your actual question, when did I want him to come on? It probably was around the 60th minute or stuff, because I'm just reading the match report on Arsenal here. And it was 10 minutes after the restart until we actually had a sight of goal. And Rice had like a shot from 20 yards that was blocked. And then Trossard was obviously crowded out when the ball fell to him. But I didn't feel like we were really sustaining anything. And then there was that long period of time where it felt like we would get the ball for like 30 seconds and then it was a wave of Man United attack. And granted, I didn't actually think Man United were going to create an opening and score. I thought, though, that there would be the element of they'll just fizz it in and there'll be something that ricochets. But I felt quite confident.
Or a VAR guy, Garnacho, he tried it a couple of times.
Rooney on Campbell-esque. 2003.
Yeah. But we've had history. We know what happens up there. So that was my fear.
Yeah, I never felt. To be honest, you said exactly how I felt. I felt nervous about the occasion and what it would mean for longer term narratives and all of that stuff. But in the context of that football match, I didn't feel nervous that Man United were going to score when they're attacking it. And I think it's more the confidence I've got in our structure. It's like, I remember having a thought come into my head during the game. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Like, you know what I said? I paraphrased Arteta's press conference, right? Saying how they didn't play with bravery in certain areas. They didn't go and play with more, bravery essentially. And they played in more dangerous areas. Do you think because of how outstanding they've been defensively, I think that was the 11th away clean sheet in the league, do you think that's just like a fallback option in their head now? You remember a few years ago we had like the back five meme, and it's like as soon as Rob Holding came on, we just knew that's it, shut up shop.
Well,
do you think there's an element of that safety in their head there?
Well, you're going back to, obviously, let's talk, 20 years ago, Invincibles, they had an aura defensively around them. And then you're going back even, let's talk George Graham teams, where you got the famous five, and they had that aura. So if you've had 10 clean sheets away from home, then is it 10? It is 10 clean sheets away from home.
I'm sure I heard it's 11. I'm sure it's
11. Today was the 11th, and you had those 6 or 7. I think we had 6 in a row away from home, didn't we? And then you have that we've only conceded 1 goal outside of London in 2024, and all of those that must sink into the players' belief and go, well, we can just sit here and because we look at United and we're thinking you haven't really got much. How do you feel it would have been a different game if Bruno and Rashford had played? Do you think it would have?
It probably would have been different, but then I think in the same way it could have been different for them positively. Like we would have
negatively,
a different game. Like I do wonder if there was an element of them. I mean, I don't think for a second this would consciously happen, but I do wonder if there's an element of subconsciously they were 1-0 up. Like, we know what we can do defensively. Like we'll just put them on the counter. And we had a flurry of late chances, didn't we? Rice obviously had one that was a really nice technique outside the box. Martinelli forced a save from Onana where he tipped it over.
That was unlucky, that one actually. That Martinelli, I really wanted that to go in because I think he needs a goal, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Gabby. But that was. I just think that they didn't pose much threat, and we just sort of soaked it up and played all, as you say, in second or third gear. And we're just like, okay, we're here because now we're mature enough in the past, I think last year we went there and we tried to show everyone how good we were.
Yeah.
And we got undone with the 3-1, where I'm still not over that with that Martinelli goal then.
I forgot about that. It's funny.
So
Ten Hag bangs on about their offside all season.
Absolutely. So I just and what the fuck was he wearing? Oh mate, that suit was shocking. He's probably going for his next job interview after tonight. So that's one thing. Obviously we want him to stay.
Yeah.
But I speak to a lot of locals, and I ask them, and they are absolutely in the Arteta trap.
Are they? Give him time. Arteta had time, and
absolutely. Oh, he was 8th. We got young players, and I'm like, okay, crack on,
Yeah.
So
let them believe in it. Let them believe in it.
Absolutely.
But no, it's in terms of that 90 minutes, I think, just to summarize before we go on and talk about a few other things, it's just a case of at this stage of the season, like I think if we were playing like this consistently, then
absolutely,
I think there's more.
There's a concern. Yeah, if we were 10 games, if we were at the start of a 10-game title running, this is concerning.
Yeah.
Very concerning.
Mate, in 2024, we've lost 1 Premier League game to Villa, and even if the game state went in our favour based on that first half, we're having a completely different conversation.
Absolutely. So it needs to be discussed, but I think Arteta's not going to be unhappy with a 1-0 result at Old Trafford.
Not at all. Like you said, it's the. I think, what was it I said at the start? It's the second win there in the league in 20 years. I don't even know when the last one was with fans there, because obviously we had the Aubameyang one during the COVID years. But we
had the FA Cup, Danny Welbeck.
But in the league.
But that's in the league.
Are we going back to winning the league there?
Probably.
Jesus.
Probably, yeah. There's been a lot of draws.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of draws, but there's also been a fair few pastings from them dished out to us.
Yeah, and I think why this is important as well is like forgetting how crap they are at the minute. It's everyone talks about these again. There's narratives like the voodoo grounds that we go to. And it's like, oh, they've not won there for so and so. It's like we hadn't done Stamford Bridge, Anfield,
absolutely.
Now Old Trafford, Etihad, Spurs. Tick it off. You fuck.
Yeah,
it's I think,
and this was a big statement. I know. I think with this, and isn't it mad, right? How our standards this season have changed. Like we've just fucking beaten United 1-0, right?
Yeah,
and we're like almost a bit downcast. But I think that's the whole. I think that's the whole. What City do to you?
Yeah,
because the pressure was on. We absolutely needed to win, but. We beaten United 1-0, and we're still sort of looking into it and thinking, oh well, could we have done a little bit better? But what do you think Tuesday then? What are you saying? You wearing a white shirt that night, or
no, I'll never do that. I think this is. I'm so glad you asked that, because
are you changing your profile picture?
No,
to Sunny.
Do you know what? Like, people do what you want, but you will never ever catch me doing any of that nonsense.
No.
Yeah, everyone's free to do whatever they want, but not for me. I think I saw someone. I forgot who it was, but someone summarized it like perfectly. And guys and girls, by the way, get some questions in the chat if you've got anything on your mind before we'll look to wrap up in like the next 5-10 minutes. But discussing Tuesday, no, I would never do anything like that. I think for me, it's a case of, do I want Tottenham to win? Of course, but I'm not going to go and like go extra about it. It's like I'll say I need them to win, but that's it.
Yeah.
I'll keep it within. I'll keep it private. I'll chat to my mates about it. I'll say it on here. I'm not going to go and like manifest it or celebrate it. Or I think I find it.
You will celebrate it.
Oh, sorry, I'll celebrate it. I meant more. I wouldn't go out and like wear colours or any of that.
You haven't like those. The Spurs fans have put the badge of like, isn't it Manchester Hotspur and all that fucking nonsense, and then they got the band at the Shite Art Lane singing Tottenham City till July, and
that's what I mean. That's embarrassing. Like, You would never ever catch me doing that. What about you? What did you think they could do it?
Well, I could. I totally understand why Spurs don't want them to win, right? I do understand that.
Yeah.
I do get that. When they were in the now, this is slightly different, right? But when they were in the Champions League final, I booked myself into a Cambodian monastery that had no Wi-Fi for a year, just in case they won it, right? Because
bloody hell,
there was no way that I'm thinking I just got to disappear, you know. So we know the implications of what at stake. So I totally understand why they are being the way they are. But I honestly don't. I hope that the players have a little bit of pride. That's all. That's all you can ask. But ultimately, you're not going to. If they get spanked, then are we going to know if they got spanked because they tried or they didn't try? They get battered everywhere they go. So it's the DNA of the club. So I hope. I really do hope they can do something. But I'm to be honest, mate. I'm resigned myself to us not winning it. I really have. I've made peace. I've made peace with it. I've made peace with it a while ago. I've never once have I. When you look deep inside yourself, you go, "No, we ain't winning it." It doesn't mean that I'm not proud of the team, and we can do after season reviews and all that, and go through moments and all that good stuff. But I made peace with it, and But that's what. As long as we could have gone to the last game of the season, and we still don't know what can happen in that game. Early red cards, West Ham, whatever.
Never know.
We don't know. I remember Liverpool beat Blackburn, didn't they? In the last game of the season, '95. It was between United and Blackburn. I was born
that year, so you're gonna have to tell me.
So United. So it was United and Blackburn going for the title, and Blackburn played Liverpool on the last game of the season, and Liverpool beat Blackburn. And it was only because that was going to hand the title to United, but there was another quirk or whatever, which actually meant that Blackburn won the title. Okay. So players are different to fans. It's the old Ben White thing, isn't it? It's his job. It's not.
For what it's worth, I don't think there'll be a single Spurs player that actively tries to throw the game or underperform. No. But one player that I think is capable of doing it, and it sums him up, James Maddison. I don't know what it is. There's something about him that I can't put my finger on it, and I think the words that come to my mind I probably can't say publicly. We'll
talk about that next Sunday.
But for what it's worth, I don't think there's any situation where the players will throw the game. I just think it will be a case of they won't be good enough, to be honest.
Mate, they've probably got a cheese named after Manchester, like Manchester City Stilton, 115 aged for 115 days in the stadium at Tottenham. Oh, come on, boys, come and have this Manchester City inspired cheese. Lovely.
Probably.
No, absolutely.
But for what it's worth, though, same as you, I've resigned myself to it's not happening, but I do think there is a small chance, though. Like Spurs,
of course,
they play good football against us. To be fair, I think they have moments.
If anyone can, it would almost be.
It would be so
typical.
Spursy. It would be so
Spursy, mate. If it happens, whoever scores the Spurs goal, right, next statue at Arsenal. Right.
Who do you want it to
be? Madison.
Yeah.
Right, Madison.
His little
Madison throwing a dartboard with Angie's head on the dartboard. And let's have a petition for whoever scores if it happens. If it happens.
All right. So fingers crossed. Just before we've got a few questions in the chat, so we'll go through them in a sec. But just touching back on the game for a second, because it's a really, really good point from Levi. When we go long in a game like this, it's all about the second balls. That's where we need to be brave. It's nearly impossible for a target man to bring the ball down and hold up play on his own. So that's a really good point, because if and when Havertz did get onto the ball and knocked it on, there wasn't really
there was no one there. No, there wasn't anyone there at all. But do we give United a bit of credit for their structure of
probably
of stopping us playing? I mean, we can't put it all down to us having a bad game. We could give a little bit of. I mean, we knew what he was trying to do with their lineup.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely packed it out, and you could see it.
It was such a narrow game at times, wasn't it? It's like everything was within like 20 yards.
So it almost as though it was almost set up. I do not want to get rolled over here 4-0. So if I get away with a 1-0 or 2-0, I'll take that.
You are right though. Like, as much as I hate Man United and I think Ten Hag is a laughing stock, like, you do have to give him credit, to be fair. Like, yeah, I think tactically and structurally, it was a very narrow game.
They done a job on us. It worked, but we were clinical, which was the difference in the Villa game. We were clinical with the 1 or 2, 5 shots on target, and we had that one great shot from Trossard, and you couldn't ask for a better person to be there, could you?
Mate, this guy, how does he do it? His goal and his goal contribution per 90.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it must be up there in the league. It's
up there.
Ridiculous.
It's right up there.
What did you think of his overall performance? Because obviously he got hooked on the 66 minute, right? Yeah.
But I'm almost giving everyone all right, lads. You didn't play the best.
You had a free pass.
You had a free pass with me because as long as I think obviously if Trossard doesn't score that, then we're looking at him going, well, would Martinelli have been a better option?
Yeah.
But he scores an important goal. He scores at important first goals. Trossard, doesn't he? He's always important.
Really good movement for it as well.
Really good, and Kai done well. But what was Casemiro doing, man?
I know, but again, it's really smart from Kai to notice that, because I don't know if it was like TV angles or what, but I didn't notice him, and I just assumed he'd be well off. And then I think was it White that played it into Havertz?
Yeah, and it was just almost a little innocuous ball, wasn't it? It was just a nice ball along there, and Havertz just done well and got in, and then Trossard slipped across. So lovely goal.
Yeah, no, nice one. Right, let's get into the questions and then we'll get out of here. Just a couple of comments before we get into the questions. Delia was saying, I was surprisingly relaxed in the second half. Our defence was just too good to worry. Scott's in. He obviously joined me on Friday. Up the Arsenal. Come on, mate. Scott's going to be there next Sunday for the Everton game as well.
Mate, that's going to be a messy one.
Oh, no. You're
a messy one. I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah.
And Delia's added into the conversations we were having around Spurs. Let's face it, Spurs have no chance to stop City. You never know in football. But on to the questions. Nice question here from Delia. Here's a question for you. What was your favourite Arsenal memory from this season so far?
City home win.
Yeah. Were you at that game?
No. I should have been at that game, but because of my bloody knee. But and it was Louis Dunford the night before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think City at home was my, because I just think, and pair that with City away, just because the overall 4 points out of City, I think, sends them a message that, as we alluded to earlier, we're not 6 point Arsenal anymore.
Yeah,
we're coming here to take, not to fuck around. As far as goals, Declan Rice against United.
That's the first one that comes to my mind as well. I think because even though we won that 3-1, that was the one where it was quite tight. That controversial offside was a couple minutes before that.
Yeah.
And then it was like 90th minute, wasn't it? Before Jesus went in.
But then the worst one was Newcastle.
Oh, we don't need to discuss worse ones. That wasn't a question. It's all good.
Okay, cool.
I think mine's similar, to be fair, but the other one is the Liverpool home game in the league, because I think for me, in terms of the timing and the context, like the City one was unreal, obviously.
Oh,
It was the manner in which we played against Liverpool.
You're right, because at that time, they could have gone 8 points clear of us. So City had a game in hand, but they were 5 points ahead. We won 40 points, and they won 45. They could have gone 8 points ahead, and that would have, if we lost then, we would have been out the title.
Right, and people had the narratives ready. Do you remember? This is what people forget. At the time, they were like, if Arsenal lose, the title was done. And
absolutely. That was after 20 games.
Yeah, the way they tried to move the goalposts for Arsenal.
So we got to give them credit, the lads, to say, look, you've taken it all the way, and we're with this season. We're making City win it. We are not handing it to them on a plate and go. If you're going to beat us, you're going to have to. And if they go on a 30-game unbeaten run, you've just got to say, fair fucks.
This is their longest unbeaten run in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know.
And I feel like that's not really getting spoken about that much either.
And they've only got 91 points once in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And that's what they can get. That's what they can get. That's what they can get this season. So, look, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Regardless, though, we know what we're in for the next few years. I think it's if you just take emotion out of it, you take subjectivity out of it, it's quantifiable year-on-year improvements. Every season we've improved on either league position, or if the league position stayed the same, the number of
goals
points,
scored, goals conceded, control,
expected goals. Yeah. I think we're so set for the future. But final question before we get out of here from Levi: If you were Declan's friend and former teammate, what lengths would you go to in order to help him win the Premier League? It's obviously West Ham going to the Etihad on the final day, isn't it?
I did hear. Didn't someone?
Mikel Antonio, I'm sure, was a bit vocal.
Yeah, wasn't there also a thing about? Probably bullshit, but Rice had offered a Fulham player if they beat with City, then he would buy him $100,000 watch.
Really? Was it Leno by any chance?
No. It would fall off his wrists, Leno. Yeah. But then West Ham have done it. Right? They've beaten
City at the Etihad before.
And they beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
But there was a time where, again, another title running where we actually won the title. It was up against United, and West Ham went to United. I think United had gone to West Ham, and West Ham held out and got a result, and it made us win the title. So you never know in football. You never know. You just never know. I mean, we got hope and pray that we have that final piece at the end of an absolutely fantastic season.
Yeah, you're bang on, and we'll leave it on that note. But yeah, cheers for joining, mate. I'll hopefully see you next Sunday. For anyone
definitely,
mate. I don't know if I've told
Block
you
6,
but yeah, Block 6 pre-game will be there. If anyone's at the stadium, come there, have a laugh. But next Sunday, the 19th of May, final day of the season. It's actually my birthday, so Jesus Christ, I can't even imagine what.
And isn't it Scott's birthday on Monday as well?
It's Scott's birthday on the 21st, I think he said.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I saw another Arsenal fan tweeted me. His name's Yogi. He said his birthday's this Tuesday. So come on, let's make it happen. But just to hammer in these stats that I mentioned at the start of the pod before we get out of here, it's the first time for 25 years that we've been involved in the title race on the final day of the season. We've completed the league double over Man United for the first time since 2006-07, and it's our 27th league win of the campaign, the most we've ever recorded in a 38-game program. And if we go on to beat Everton, 89 points will be our second highest ever points total in the Premier League. Mikel Arteta, you have saved our fucking club. Uncle Mike, where can everyone catch you on Twitter for the hopeful celebrations?
FPL Mike H.
Nice one. Yep. Follow the man there. But yeah, cheers for joining.
No worries.
I'm not going to say the words, but hopefully Tottenham win on Tuesday. And then let's just, regardless of what happens, let's have a fucking party next Sunday.
Absolutely.
Up the Arsenal.
See you later. Up the arse.